Okay, hello everyone. This is the Gaming Champ back with another deck tech video of Final Fantasy trading card game. Just as an FYI, again, I will have all of the cards, the deck list listed in the description below, along with the breakdowns and the serial numbers and things like that. So if you wanted to find these cards to play this deck, you could do so. All right, so this deck we're calling Dark Lightning. And you'll see that as we go through. Basically, it's a single color deck with dark added in as a quote unquote second color, just for some variety. But the lightning by itself works really, really well. And most of the stuff in this, there's not very many legendaries compared to the last deck I did, but still a few. But it has a lot of commons in it this time, so that's really, really good. And the set breakdown is very evenly spread amongst the three sets. So I hope you guys enjoy this deck tech, and let's just jump into it with the forwards. So the first forward I have is from the new set. It is a heroic from set 3, and it's Jack. He is a class 0 cadet. I have 2 copies of him. But it's a 1-drop for 7,000. He can't block. When he attacks, he doesn't activate during the next turn. And then he has that reflex where you activate him and he loses all his abilities till end of turn, so he can block and things like that. I do only have 2 copies of him in there. The reason I have Jack and a couple of the other low drops in here is because my curve was really, really high when I first built this deck. So I tried to lower the curve a little bit by throwing in a few low drops, and Jack was just one of them. I do have 5 more low drops to go through, and the ratios of which ones might be able to be tweaked a little bit to make it a little better. But you know, I leave that up to you guys. The next card is a 3 of. It is a common from set 3. It's Sice. When Sice attacks, choose 1 forward opponent controls until end of turn. It loses 1,000 power for each job class 0 cadet character you control. That is character, so that includes your backups. If you are playing backups that are job class 0 cadets, there are 3 or 4 of them that you can play, but I think only 1 in purple, so yeah, it wouldn't be very efficient here. But she also has Black Hole as an S ability. Choose 1 forward until end of turn. It loses 4,000 power. So that's pretty good. Both abilities are very relevant. I think that this one you could take one out and put another Jack in. Again, the ratios can change a little bit depending on what you want to try to do. And then we have the next card is Queen, another class 0 cadet. It's a 2-drop, 4,000 power. It is a starter card from set 3. And it is an EX burst. So when Queen enters the field, choose 1 forward opponent controls. If you control 2 or more job class 0 cadet forwards, dull it. So if you have a couple of these guys out, it'll dull one of their dudes. If you control 5 or more, break it. Now, that will never happen with what we've got here, because we only have 3 0 cadets forwards. So even if you have all 3 out, that will not happen. But if you had 2 out, when she hits in play, you know, it can dull something, so not too bad. But again, another low drop that you can throw out there. These are not all set in stone. I just kind of threw them out there to see how they would work. They tend to work pretty well, though. Sice's ability, even with just losing 1,000 power, can sometimes mean a difference in being able to win a fight or not. So, not too bad. I like them. I could see replacing those with just some efficient 1 and 2 drops, or just some efficient 2 and 3 drops or whatever from earlier sets or whatever that are not necessarily 0 cadets. But I do like the way they play, how they are now. Now we're going to get into some power here. The next card is a 3 of. It's Amon from set 2. It's a legendary. I have 3 foils. As I said, I opened a lot of set 2, so don't be too mad at me. But this is a very, very efficient card. It's one of the more expensive cards too, simply because it's so good. It's a 4-drop 8,000, which is really good. And then when it enters the field, dull a forward your opponent controls, and then you can just dull him to dull a forward. Just a very, very good, efficient, and kind of annoying card for people to deal with. but just awesome in this deck. That is one of the more essential cards in this particular deck, actually. The next card we're going to go over is a dark card. It is another legendary from set 2. It's the Emperor. And if you haven't seen this card before, I would recommend picking up as many copies as you can because it is that good. So it's a 4-drop, 8,000 power, which is good as it is. But it also says characters opponent controls cannot use special or action abilities. So it's one of those, hey, you want to do stuff with your dude? You can't do that. Now, I am running a full playset. I do realize that does get a little hairy because, you know, if you're stuck with 3 of them in your hand, you can't pay for things with them, stuff like that. But what I've been known to do is just throw one out on the field, even if they have stuff out there that'll kill it, and let it die, and then, you know, play another one the next turn or whatever. And it just gets annoying because it kind of makes it to where they can't do certain things that they kind of want to do. So it's just a really, really good card. And it's hard to play around unless you're playing a lot of kill spells in summon form. The next card I have is our first Lightning. As I said, this was called Dark Lightning. So the main cards of the deck are Lightnings. I am running 6. I'm running Heroic from set 3, the 5-drop. It is an EX burst, so when Lightning enters the field, choose one card named Odin in your break zone, put it on top of your deck. You'll see later I have a lot of Odins in this deck. And then she also has a S ability that is Gestalt Drive. So this one's a little less efficient, so I wouldn't recommend using this too much unless you have to, but you can pay 1 Lightning and 1 other, dull her and discard a Lightning card, and you discard a card named Odin, and then you choose up to 2 forwards of cost 4 or less and break them. So, I mean, it is a good effect, but it is a little inefficient card-wise, so I would use that sparingly. You most often are going to want to use the other Lightning, which we're going to get to right now. And then this is a very famous one that most people are going to know about. It is the Legendary Lightning from set 1, and it is just a very, very good card. 6-drop for 9,000 power, which isn't terrible or isn't great. But when she enters the field, search for 1 card named Odin and add it to your hand. It's not an EX burst, but when you play her, you go get one. And then she has Army of 1, which is pay 1 Lightning and discard a Lightning card. Until end of turn, Lightning gains haste for strike, and when a Lightning attacks, choose up to 1 forward opponent controls. If it is possible, it must block Lightning this turn. So she can pick off specific people or specific forwards of your opponents as she is attacking, and you can give her haste. So right away she can come in, you can pay 1 and make her attack. So she's really, really good. I like her quite a bit. Next one, final one, is Edea. Is another legendary from set 2. Again, I'm running 2 foils because, again, I have a ton of set 2. This is another EX burst. And it says when Edea enters the field, choose 1 forward opponent controls with a cost inferior or equal to the number of Lightning backups you control and break it. So up to 5, obviously, depending on how many you have out. Other than that, she's a 6-drop with 6,000 power. Not great, but she does have an S ability that is really good if you happen to have both of them in your hand. But it's pay 4 Lightning, choose a forward and break it. So very relevant abilities. I do like the fact that it's an EX burst. So just a really, really good card. And not too much more to say about that. Again, a couple changes you could make. Again, any of the low drops you could change for basically anything else. I could see shaving 1 Emperor for another copy of any Lightning. I could see shaving a Sice and putting in another Jack or something like that, to kind of make it a little more low end and get through some of those attacks and things. But essentially, this is kind of the core. But the shaving 1 Emperor for another copy of Lightning might be the right choice, just because you don't want too many dead Emperors in your hand. But yeah, other than that, I do like the way this deck runs. I've played it a few times. It's very, very nice. So those are the forwards in the Dark Lightning deck. my backups are kind of a thing of beauty, I think. I know that sounds really self-congratulatory, but I really like what I did with the backups here, and I hope you do too. So I've got Black Mage. This is a common from set 1. It's a 2-drop standard Black Mage. You can pay 2 lightning and basically tap and sacrifice this guy and choose a damaged forward and break it. I did only do the 2 of there because lightning is not as good at just dealing damage, you know, without killing stuff. So the 2 of there is really nice to have, I think. The next one is yet another Black Mage. This is a 2-drop common from set 2, and I really, really like this one. It is when Black Mage enters the field, choose 1 forward opponent controls. It loses 4,000 power till end of turn. Just a very, very nice card. It can kind of turn the tide a bit in a battle. Next one is another Black Mage. This one is from set 3. It's a common. When Black Mage enters the field, choose 1 forward opponent controls. If you control 4 or more card named Black Mage, it loses 8,000 power till end of turn. That is a very, very nice one. That is a 2 of. I have killed Emperors with this before, believe it or not, because Emperor does not stop automatic abilities. But having a lot of Black Mages is really, really cool here. And you'll see, like, I'll show you once I get to the end here, but you run the risk of having a lot of Black Mages out and being, oh, you know, I can't do anything. But there are ways to get rid of them, and I'll show you here in a second. So then I have this Black Mage, which is a common from set 3 as well. This one you pay 2 lightning and 2 other. You dole it and sacrifice it, and choose an active forward of cost 3 or less and break it. So very efficient card. I've got a 3 of there. Now notice these 2 you can sacrifice to do other things. I wanted a bunch of those in there so that, you know, you didn't get bogged down with Black Mages. But if you notice, I have a total of 10 Black Mages, card name Black Mages in this deck, which is great. I just love it. Next backup rather, sorry, is the what I call the first part of the engine in this deck. So this is Fusoya. It is a 3-drop rare from set 2. Again, I've got 3 foils because, you know, set 2. And this has a double whammy on it. So Fusoya, first ability is when Fusoya enters the field, choose 1 forward opponent controls and deal it 5,000 damage. So just a really efficient, you know, kill a small guy or do some damage to a big guy, and then you can use Black Mage to kill it if you want. But the other ability is what I really like about this. When Fusoya is put from the field into the break zone, choose 1 forward from your break zone and add it to your hand. So this is going to get back your lightnings and things like that. So that's part of the engine. So and we'll get into the rest of that here in a second. So Fusoya is a 3 of. It is definitely necessary to have 3 of them. Now we have 1 Lulu here, a 3-drop. Says lightning forwards you control gain 1,000 power. Once I get another copy of the other Lulu, I will replace this with that, and I'll show you that here in a second. Next, we've got 2 copies of Seymour. Seymour is a rare from set 1. When he enters the field, choose a forward of 3 or less and break it. I like it. Just a 2 of. You don't need too many more of those. Next card we have is a 4-drop common from set 1. It is the Sage. And when Sage enters the field, choose 1 character card in your break zone and add it to your hand. Very, very simple. And that's a character card, not just a forward. And now here's the second part of the combo, or the engine, and it is this 5-drop Lulu that is a heroic from set 1. And I love this combo. Again, I will replace this Lulu once I get a 3rd copy of this other Lulu here. But essentially you dole her and you basically sacrifice any backup, and you choose another forward and deal it 5,000 damage. Okay, so if you notice, you can dole her, sack your Fusoya, deal 5,000 damage to a dude, and then get back something from your graveyard or from your break zone. That's where that engine is. I love this engine, and you can also use it for all these other ones as well, to get them out of there so you can play these other more efficient ones. So this deck, you have to be cognizant of whether you have a Lulu or not, and only play up to 4 dudes before you get a Lulu. So just be aware of that. But yeah, so once I get another one, I'm definitely replacing this other Lulu. But she also has an S ability, pay 1 lightning and dull her, choose a forward, and deal it 10,000 damage. So that's relevant as well for the extra 2 Lulus there. So I'm very, very happy with my backup spread in this particular deck. It works really well, and it's very, very annoying. You can ask my friend at some point because he had to play against it, and it is very, very good. I'm highly impressed with what this was able to do. And it seems like there's eventualities for, or contingencies for any type of deck that you might play against. But yeah, that is very nice. And it's not too hard because there's only a couple of heroics and things like that, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. Alright, so now we're going to jump into summons. The first summon we have is Odin. As usual, as I said, we're running a bunch of Odins just because of lightning. So this Odin, very simple. It's a rare from set 1. It's a 4-drop. Choose a forward of 4 or less and break it. Very efficient card. Very simple. Next one could be replaced with something else, but I do like it for what it is. It is a 4-drop Odin from set 3. It's a rare. Choose a forward. If it has 7,000 power or less, break it. If you control 0 cadet, just break it regardless. So that's why I kind of went with those. I believe there's 8 0 cadets, or maybe it's 7. Anyway, the 0 cadets instead of just random 1 and 2 drops. That way, this gets a lot more efficient. So it turns this 4-drop Odin into a 7-drop Odin. So anyway, that's why those are in there. Next, we have the aforementioned 7-drop Odin. It is a EX burst, kill a dude. That's basically what that says. So I have 7 total Odins in there, and I do like those. The next one is going to be probably a little bit of a surprise to people, simply because it is a controversial pick, but I can tell you that I can vouch for how good it is. So I've got Zodiark here. It is a dark summon, 7 cost. If you control a dark forward, the cost to cast this is reduced by 3. So it is a 4-drop if you have your Emperor out. Okay. So, and this says break all the forwards opponent controls. You receive damage equals the number of forwards broken by this effect. Now, that sounds really, really heavy of a cost, and it can be. However, I remember I played a game the other day where I played that when I had 2 damage. He had 4 dudes out. I went to 6 damage, and then I ended up stabilizing because of that and winning the game later. So it is a very, very good card. That's not going to happen in every situation, but it is a legendary also from set 3. But very, very nice addition. I do like having the 2 of. I would never go more than 2 on that. But yeah, I do like this spread quite a bit. The 3-2-2-2 is really nice. I could see going 1 Odin down and 1 4-drop up. You know, just kind of balance it out. But this one is an EX burst as well, which is really good, and none of the other ones are. So anyway, that is the Dark Lightning deck that I do like having built here. It is very, very good, and it's got one of the best backup suites that I have seen out of my decks. So just really, really efficient stuff in there. I like it a lot. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of the deck. If there's any decks you want me to try out or any concepts you want me to look at for decks for Final Fantasy, just let me know in the comments and we'll take a look at them. Again, I think I'm going to have another video out hopefully in the next week or so. I built 3 decks over the last 4 or 5 days. And I've play tested all of them. The other one that I want to try out is mostly set 3. but I think I need to tweak it a little bit to make it a little bit more efficient. It is 3 colors, so it's a little wonky at times, but I'm hoping that we can get that to work out, and then I can do a deck tech on it and kind of show you how it works. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know what you think, and like or subscribe if you like it. Thank you so much, and have a great one.